Welcome back to the Sideline Live podcast. You can follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at the Sideline Live. We'd love to hear from you. In episode 40, I'm delighted to be joined by one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met. Rachael Lee grew up dreaming of the Olympics. When that didn't work out, she trained as a nurse, then retrained as a firefighter paramedic. She is also a phenomenal ocean swimmer and currently holds the Irish record for any male or female to swim across the channel. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hi Rachel, thanks a million for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Orla. Very excited to be here.
Would you be able to give a bit of background about yourself and who you are and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Rachael Lee. I am a firefighter, Dublin Fire Brigade, and I also do a bit of swimming, a bit of coaching with ocean breakers. I'm into endurance open water events, having swam the English Channel, done a relay in the North Channel, and numerous other swims. And now at the moment we're focused on coaching open water for all levels and trying to get everybody swimming to have a life skill, because you see all the drownings and everything that's going on at the moment. So that's pretty bit it in a nutshell.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love the way you're real humble there. Just a bit of swimming. Rachel holds the Irish record, male or female, for the channel swim, and your husband actually, you broke your husband's record by 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That was it.
11 minutes, but we won't go into it.
We'll leave that one aside. Yeah. Getting into swimming, talk us through that. Why swimming? Why not something else? Or what was your interest?
It was just something that we did. I lived in Australia growing up, and it was obviously very, very hot where I lived in a mining town, and there was a swimming pool there. Saw a girl win a race that I wanted to win, said it to my mum, and she brought me swimming, and that was it. And it's always been water, swimming, probably because I'm brutal at everything else. It's just something that we do, and it's such a huge community here in our small little island. And if it's not swimming, it's water polo, or there's some sailing, canoeing. There's an awful lot of water sports. We live in an island that we live in, and it's just something that has grown in popularity, especially over COVID and the early morning swims. And we hear the word mental health, and people here, they actually immerse themselves in cold water to shock themselves out of depression, and it just seems to be working. And again, with the 70% of the world is covered in open water, so it's something that I love. Yeah,
I was going to mention actually, with lockdown, have you seen a huge increase in the amount of people see swimming?
Unbelievable. Yeah. I sit here after swimming in the sea and I have my dry rub on me. I think it's a staple clothing item now. Everybody has a dry robe of sorts. Exactly. There was those dry robe wankers going around. People were giving out about them, and I was like, I love them. They're so warm, they're so practical. They look disgusting, but they're brilliant. So everybody is, and I put in inverted commas, a sea swimmer now. So whether it's a dipper, a swimmer, or just getting in. But I couldn't get over on COVID, especially when there was no one really around early mornings. The amount of people swimming, getting in, just doing their little thing, and it's lovely to see.
Do you think it's something that we're going to see even beyond kind of that COVID, not lockdown, we're not in lockdown at the moment, but kind of that COVID pandemic? Do you think people will really stick with sea swimming?
I think so. I think so, because a lot of people that have come to me lately, they could only maybe swim a couple of strokes or couldn't breathe, and now they've stuck with it, because sometimes the people come to you in our sessions and they might just do one or two, or they mightn't come back. Where I can't get over the amount of people, being COVID compliant, and they are swimming and they're sticking with it, and they're going to Decathlon. I mean, it's Decathlon, the biggest shop here in Europe that everybody, out of all the shops in Europe, the Decathlon, the one in Ballymun seems to be doing the biggest gross sales, and everybody, and it's safe swimming as well. They all have the tow float, the dry robe, the high vis hat, so they really are sticking with it. So it's not just, we all go through these fads with, I'm not going to say, because everyone has different things, but it seems something to be really, really popular. And I just hope that, maybe, I know with COVID there's an awful lot going on, but maybe the government might see it is a life skill. And the amount of drownings that we're seeing is quite scary. And kids here are not taught to swim, unfortunately, and it's really, really expensive to put your child or adults, because the pool hire is so expensive, and to have a decent coach. It's something that's really, really expensive, and it shouldn't be. So I just hope that might change in the future. It's like, learn CPR. I mean, I just think education for everybody has to change. You can't, not everybody is going to go to college and, be a top class intellectual, life skills, and being a lifeguard is an important job. And there's something there that everybody can do. And I'm sure water safety, they have loads of advertisements going on, and it's just something I really, really hope changes, and we'd like to get on board with that, because thoughts of people drowning is quite scary at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back a little bit to kind of teenage age. A lot of my listeners are maybe of a younger demographic,
Right.
and you hear a lot
I'm
about.
only 19.
Yeah.
So obviously we'll get on great
you
together.
get on great. Yeah. And just out of interest, like you hear a lot about young females dropping out of sport.
Yeah.
How come you stuck with swimming? I'm just interested here in case there's anyone listening that maybe is thinking of, well, maybe I want to drop out or any of that.
Don't drop out of sport, because the reason I stuck with sport was I suppose I kind of maybe felt a bit different to everybody because I went to so many different schools. We were always moving. So it's all about friends, and I see young people today and they always want to be the same and look the same. They don't want to be different, you know. And I'm always going, oh my God, the lion doesn't care about the pin in the sheep. I'm always saying that to my kids. What does the lion not care about? The pin in the sheep, ma'am. And they don't even know what I'm talking about. But, you know, I think sport unifies people. And, you know, the reason I stuck with sport was because of my friends. I had, no matter where I went in school or when I was being brought back to Australia or travelling, I still had my friends within the swimming community, and I still have my friends from the swimming community, you know, from all those years ago. School, no, because I moved and I didn't really keep in touch with them. But swimming, and that's the reason I stayed in swimming. Because I loved it, not just because I was good at it, because it had to work hard at it, but because of my friends. And I just think if you drop out of sport, because it opens so many pathways to you. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without swimming, you know, with job wise, how I think about things, my confidence. And I just think it's something. Now, there's all going to be different teams, whatever sport you're going to be in. You don't have to be the best at it, but it will give you that purpose, that drive, that fitness. It will keep you healthy, you know, socialising. Well, you mightn't get that in your job, you mightn't get that in school, but and then you might be into swimming, and then you might go into life saving, or you might go into water polo, and that's going to be a different part. And the same with football. You know, I always say to people, if you're going to be a footballer, or no matter what sport you do your coaches. You know, get your badges so you can coach. You can make money out of it. You can inspire. You can bring people along. A lot of corporate jobs, you know, they're looking then for within, if you get a job, to, you know, to be a leader and to unite people, and, you know, they want people to coach. And I just think that's something that, you know, if you can stand up and say, I have that, you're going to be different from everyone else, but also you're going to unite people. So it's just really, really good. Yeah,
I'm big into Gaelic football, and I was listening to someone recently. They won an Ireland medal, and they were talking to their friends who don't play football, and they were saying, oh, their friends were nearly kind of jealous because she had these really amazing friends from football and they didn't. And it was like, and I play sport, and I have friends who don't play sport, and it's like, it's a different friendship. It's not a better friendship, but it's a different friendship because you've different things in common, and in sport you go through so many ups and downs. It's just amazing. Like,
well, it prepares you for life, doesn't it, with pressures, and you're not going to win all the time, you know, and you don't appreciate win until you suffer a loss, you know, and that's something that we all have to lose. And we spoke of that before. It's really important. But your friends as well in sport, you know, you're working hard and you're training, you're pushing yourself, you're disciplined. And if you don't go to a training session, you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting everyone down. So you have to be there, and you have to have that sense of well, I have to be there for everyone else. So that will carry on when you go to work. I mean, my work, I can't be late for work or not come in because I might be needed for something. So it just gives you that sense of purpose and achievement, and it also just makes you realise that in life you can't just sail through life, and you know you have to be there, you have to be on time, you have to be disciplined, and you have to be ready for whatever throws at you, you know. Totally.
Growing up then, I know you took swimming very seriously. You mentioned previously, was Olympics something that you wanted? I'm only asking because they were middle of Tokyo 2020 now.
If you come into our house, the house is in bits, and all we do is watch television. It's Olympics, you know. I went home to study on Friday after work, and I ended up watching BMX.
So it was so random,
crying. Oh my God, she was so amazing. Yeah, the Olympics is just the best thing at our house at the moment. And of course, I wanted to go to the Olympics, just wasn't good enough at the time. That's absolutely fine. And of course, you have to, and you see that people didn't make the Olympics, and that's tough. It's awful because they've trained you to make it, but then there's something else going to be there for you. Like my channel was my Olympics, or you know, winning the Liffey was my Olympics, and you'll find in a different thing for you. So don't ever give up on your dreams, because it's never too late. And I don't know I just watched them. I couldn't get over the age demographic in the Olympics in swimming. They're either 13, 14, or a girl who was 30 made her first Olympics.
Wow.
So, you know, and she's only starting to get really, really good now at 30 years old. That's unheard of. So I'm a big believer in never giving up. You know, you'll find something for you, and you know, what's for you won't pass you. But you have to work really, really hard at it. But the Olympics is just so incredible at the moment, isn't it? I mean,
amazing. I was watching judo the other day. I'm getting really into it. I've never watched judo before in my life.
I know.
Didn't
That's
know
the
the
whole thing. And like, I have my kids watching it and the speed climbing, because we all want our kids to do the sports that we do, but they might find something else they're really good at, and you have to just, once they do sport, I don't care, it keeps them off the street, keeps them off the drugs,
off the screens,
off the screens. But just like as we talked about friendship and happy, and you having those memories, you know. So I was only swimming this morning with Big Ro. I mean, I've known Ronan since I was 16. And we're in our 40s and we're still going swimming together. Yeah. And, you know, we're like, oh, that was brilliant, and I enjoyed that because, yeah, that's just what we do, you know. Yeah. So, it's just never, ever give up on your dreams.
Yeah. I actually heard, I'm not sure if you heard of the High Performance podcast.
No.
It's brilliant. It's all about high performance, not necessarily sport. They have business people on, musicians, everyone. And they recently had a swimming coach on, Mel Marshall. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. But she was kind of saying... she's a community coach, but a high performance coach. I think she coaches one of the guys who won a gold medal. But her big
she's
thing,
Adam Peaty's coach.
Her, she was saying
she's amazing,
and her episode was brilliant. And she was saying, get your kids to their Olympic final. Their Olympic final might not be the Olympic final, but it might be something else. And you mentioned that your Olympic final was the channel.
Yeah, and it's really, really important because if you have something that, like I said, Olympic final might be the community games, you'll never forget it, and you'll have that appreciation and that pride in yourself. And I think that's what's missing a lot of people, is having pride in something that we're so busy looking at, aren't they? And it's great because it's really, really important to, you know, I mean, look at the rowers that are coming on and the boxers, and it's brilliant to see in Irish sport. But everyone needs to have a self of pride within themselves. And if you have that pride, you know, about loving yourself as well. Yeah. And I think that's really, really important, because I think we're so busy trying to be like other people else or applaud other people, we kind of forget about our own selves. And I think that's something that we all need to stop and go, God, I did that as well. And God, I can do that. And just realise just what we can accomplish. And we all need a bit of help in getting it. But like I said, your Olympic final just could be it could be anything, but to have that, and, you know, just to, you know, sometimes when your kids or your teenage sister or someone does something, just to be say that well done, but also make sure they realise what they've done, you know. It's really, really important.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about leaving cert, college and career. Again, a lot of younger people follow the podcast, and I think that's something we don't discuss enough, and kind of finding your passion, I think, because I found anyway in school you're kind of forced to think about CAO, and
it's so different now, isn't it?
It's very different, and I just think it's hard for a lot of young people to really navigate that path. And I think with social media there's huge pressures now, and I remember like thinking 17, 18, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I want to do.
I would hate to be a 17-year-old now.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be awful.
Media.
Yeah.
God, if there was photos of what we did when we were younger, would I be sitting here? I don't think so. But even at that, just the pressure, and like I'm talking about the comparison, and oh man, just be yourself, you know. And this pressure, CEOs, how do you know it's 16, 17
you
or
don't.
13 picking subjects, what you want to do?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And then you could be dyslexic, you could be dyspraxic. There's not as much choice or help there for everybody, you know, and it's very, very difficult. So I am 42, so it was a long time ago when I had to do my leaving. And honestly, when I was doing my leaving, I really thought I was going to go and get my scholarship and go to the Olympics, because that's the way I was thinking.
Okay.
And it didn't happen. So absolutely devastation. And schoolwork, I worked hard at school. My parents never put any pressure on me. And I remember from my leaving, I love biology, and I don't know what I was going to do. I can't even remember what I was going to do. But I didn't get the points. I did really, really bad. And I was absolutely devastated, going, oh my God, what am I going to do now?
My life is over because I didn't do well in my leaving cert.
Yeah, well, I just said, oh man. And thankfully my mum and dad were so supportive. They were like, listen, we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was never going to repeat my leave. I don't think you can do it then. But I had done my nursing interview, and it was different then. Nursing wasn't on the CEO form. So I had done my nursing interview and I got nursing. And I was like, my mum's going, well, look, you have to get nursed. And I was going, I don't really want to do this. And she said, well, just, you know, give it a shot. And I did. And I absolutely loved it. But looking back, when we did our leaving cert, there wasn't any support. There was no one sat down with you and said, what do you want to do? Or what are you good at? What do you care about? What would you like to make a difference in? You know, what skills have you got? And why would you not like to go? There was, you know, because psychologically you're thinking, am I good enough? Am I able to do something like that? There was no support there, and I hope there is now. And if anyone's listening out there and you don't know what to do, that's okay. And maybe 4 years going to college isn't for you. And you know,
it's not for everyone.
No, there's trades, and especially if you're a female, if you like fixing things, if you want to do a trade, do a trade.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you'll do it, like, you know. Yeah. And there's always help and support out there. Don't be afraid to ask for someone or send someone an email. But it is, know what you want. Don't do something or not do something because you think you're not good enough, you know.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of pressure there, I think, put on people.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of pressure put on them to stick with what they decided. And like, it's actually okay to kind of turn around and be like 3 years in and be like, oh, maybe I don't.
No, sure, I changed my career at 25, but I changed again, possibly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 42 and I still don't know.
Yeah.
I always kind of fell into things, and like I said, back from swimming and confidence and being fit and, you know, being clever enough to work things out for myself and, you know, being brave, I suppose, or, you know, willing to give things a shot and just hope for the best is a lot. But, you know, you have to have a drive as well and be disciplined. But it's very, very difficult, I have to say. What would I do now? I actually don't know, but possibly not what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But I don't regret anything I've done, so that's the most important thing.
That's the main thing, yeah. I want to talk a little bit about getting into sea swimming, because you originally would have just swam in swimming pools and kind of raced. Yeah. Were you kind of sprint, or was it more distance?
Yeah, I was a 800 metres swimmer. So I was a distance swimmer, and always knew about sea swimming. The 10K in the Olympics only went in 2000 and... Was it 12 or 2008? So when I was swimming, it wasn't even in the Olympics, open water swimming.
Okay.
So I fell into open water swimming when I gave up swimming, started nursing, and started playing water polo.
Okay.
And someone had mentioned open water swimming. I knew about the Liffey swim, and they said, come down and do a sea swim. And I did, and I just went, oh my God. Yeah. It was like, where has this been all my life? You know, it's just something, again, that, you know, I couldn't believe that I loved and was good at. And that's where I went from.
Brilliant. And you actually you hold another record, I think, a relay with a couple of friends of yours. You did the which one was
the
that?
North Channel.
Channel.
We did the North Channel. We did the English Channel, did Fire Brigade. We broke an Irish record. We did 2-way, and it's been broken since by a group of girls in from Cork. But we swam over and back. There was 6 of us. That was brilliant. And then we did the North Channel. The 3 of us did that in 2019. So that was myself, Tom, and Rose. So that was a fun challenge to do.
A fun challenge, just swim.
Well, it was a fun challenge, but we did it just to raise awareness of, you know, the problems of plastic and what's happening in the oceans at the moment. And we were heavily involved with Kingspan, and we still are. And that's just an ongoing process at the moment. So
Talk us through the relay. How does it work in terms of the actual swim itself? How do you rotate?
Okay, so what we normally do is the fastest goes first. Okay. So that was Tom, and he went first. And then myself, and then Ro went. So what you do is you do an hour in and 2 hours out. Okay. So I think if you had 6 swimmers, it'd be an hour in, 5 hours out. Okay. And if you had 2 swimmers, it's 2 hours in, 2 hours out. Okay. So they're the kind of rules. There's someone on board who watches everything, makes sure everything's done. You're not allowed to touch the boat. And it's an official on, so it's quite strict. And, you know, you can't just wing it. You know, they watch you jumping in, diving. And, so... Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I'm just out of interest. What's it like when you're watching your teammate in the pool, or not in the pool, in the sea, and you know, oh no, I have to go into this?
Well, when we did it in 2019, when Tom, in fairness, he got the short straw, and he said he'll go first because it was early in the morning. It was probably the coldest time, so myself and Ronan said, thanks very much, Tom. And in fairness, Tom was fine at the moment. So when you start on the boat, you go out in the boat and then you have to swim into the start. So he swam out to the start and in Donaghadee, and he then jumped in the water and he started swimming. And we were looking in, and the water's about 11 degrees, and we could see a good few jellyfish around him. And I thought, it's not too bad. I said, we'll be fine. We'll get through this. And, you know, he was flying. And then when I jumped in, and you start swimming and you actually look down under the water, there are just thousands of them. So sometimes it's good not seeing what he's seeing, you know.
Okay, good.
And then, so what they do is, so whoever is in first, so Tom was in first, I was going second, so whoever's going after you, that you watch that person. That's your role. Okay. So Rona would have been, you know, getting ready to go. I was watching Tom, then Rona would have been watching me, because Tom would have been, when you got out, you're just freezing, you're shivering, it takes an hour to settle down, and then he'd go then for the next. So we just all rotate. So we had my mum and our friend Kevin was on the boat as well. So they're all safety officers and watching us. But you have to watch the other swimmer at all times. Yeah. Just in case, you know.
Of course, yeah. And when you look down, you see all those jellyfish.
They're all around you. Yeah. You're just...
Because I have a fear of jellyfish. I hate jellyfish.
I don't do the North Channel.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Was there any particular fear you had in the water or surrounding any of that? Like
before, I was terrified of I just knew I'm not really good in cold water. So I was just worried about my coping mechanisms with that. But look, I knew I'd suck it up and do it. And the jellyfish. But at the same time, I mean, if I jumped into North Channel now and I saw those jellyfish, I'd get out. But when you're doing a race and other people are depending on you, unless you're going to die, I'm not going to get out of the water. So, and we knew that would be the case, you know. So,
exactly.
You just have to suck it up, princess, as they say, and off you go.
Absolutely. You mentioned journaling there before, particularly with your own race, or with your own swim, and you kind of wrote about writing down your fears and writing down your your purpose, why you're doing
that's
the
really
swim.
important.
Talk a little bit through journaling, because it's something I'm only getting into. It's something that's really, I think, really interesting.
Yeah, well, I keep a journal, a diary. Now, when I say a diary, I don't write down my thoughts or how I felt or anything like that. Sometimes I suppose I do after training, but what I do is I keep, and I have my kids are starting to do it now. So I'm writing down what I would train, how I felt, what I did, what I could do better.
Yeah.
If I need to put on weight or lose weight, I might write down what I'm eating. Not so much that I'm going to be totally going, oh my God.
Just to be conscious of it.
Just to be conscious of it. And I also kept a journal for the North Channel, and so did Tom, and so did Ro, actually, just so then we could help other people. We can compare and you know, mileage and what we were doing. It's just a good way of being able then to coach and to help people through their next process. Yeah. Not saying that what we did it was right. Yeah. Because there's always going to be someone faster or better, or they might have a different way. But myself and Tom, we would sing up, and Ron would sing up the same hymn sheet. So if we're all doing the same thing, then obviously there's some kind of
something
method.
Going right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just really believe, and I think it's something that you could do, whether it's school or college or work, is to keep a journal. And I'm not saying, you know, this you know, you wake up in the morning and you write down your affirmations or what you're going to do. This is just, I just keep this so I know where I'm at, where I'm going, how I felt. And I look back on it now and I go, geez, how did I do that? You know, I can't believe I did that. And I write down what else I did in the day. But it's something still now I'm just writing down. I kept one throughout COVID, my training, where I was, whether it's running or swimming or what I did, what I didn't do. And I just look back and it's just something that really does help me, you know. And I would recommend any athlete or just anyone really, if you're struggling at something or you want to see where you're at, just keep one in for 6 weeks. Yeah. Write down what you're doing, what you could do better, and why you're doing something or what you're scared of. You know, you don't have to show it to anybody. And but I kept that beside me, and especially for the English Channel, because a couple of things, you know, we're all afraid of failure. Yeah. And a couple of things I wrote down, other personal things to me, and it really, really helped me. Yeah. And
it's definitely something I'm getting into. Like, but I do need to kind of go back and look at previously, maybe this time last year, what was I thinking then? And if anyone kind of thinks that journaling is kind of an official thing, I technically journal, but I don't really journal, because what I call journaling is I have I took this off a guy on YouTube, Ali Abdal. You have a highlight for the day, you something, a fear you want to let go of, and something you're grateful for, and I technically call that journaling, even though maybe that's not writing 6 pages of how I feel and what I'm thinking. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you do it the way you want to do it, you know. Maybe I should focus on what I'm grateful for, but I think I'm a bit older now, so I know every day what I'm grateful for, and it's, you know, my kids and my family, and that's what comes first, you know, and what they're doing. So every day, even though I want to strangle them sometimes, I think as you get older as well, like I spoke about this before, is that when you're 20, you have what you think is important and where you want to be and what's right, and then especially as a female, you'll change again in the 5 years, and then you'll change again, you know, and you know, when you look back at other things that you were focused on or doing, and you have to be very, very selfish when you're trying to do things like that as well, because if you worry about other people or let other people come in, you're just not gonna stay focused on what you have to do. So totally, yeah. I'm interested to hear about the training and the schedule really of getting swims in, because if you're going to swim for 9.5 hours, you are going to have to go to train like an animal. How did that work really from originally booking the swim, and how did you kind of structure your training?
Okay, well, when I booked the swim, the kids were probably only a few months old, and Tom had done his relay. Tom had done his swim when I was pregnant with him. I saw him doing it. I was going, oh God, no, I'm not doing that. Oh my God. And I saw just how hard he had trained. And then after I had the kids, I decided I was going to do a long swim. So I did the long swim, which was Lake Zurich, which is 26k, which is a beautiful swim, and it was in Zurich, and that was just amazing. I loved every second of it. It was tough, but I was training for that. So once I knew I was going to do that and I felt good, I booked the channel. Okay. Didn't say it to Tom until I got the pilot said, yeah, he'll take me on. And then I said, right, Tom, this is what I want to do. And he said, yeah, got your back. How are we going to figure this out? How are we going to pay for it? Yeah. But we just did it. But again, it was all down to journaling. It was sitting down, writing every Sunday what we're going to do for the week, what we're going to do for the month, what we're going to do for 6 months. So that took about 2-3 years of training. But before that, it was all my life's training as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's accumulation.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. And a lot of people say, I want to swim the channel, I want to do this. And I'm like, absolutely. But it's a 3 to 4, depending where you're coming from, it's a long process, and you have to be willing to put in the work, because, you know, you're going to get sick. You might have work might get in the way. You might have kids. Financially, it's really, really, really expensive to swim a channel, and you just have to make sure that you have a big, big support system around you to do it, because you're on your own. So in the morning, then you're going to work, then you're swimming in the evening, then you have to work after kids, and I worked all my training around kids. So that was really difficult. So I actually don't think I slept for about 3 or 4 years, and long shifts, and training when you're tired, which is really, really important, because when you're swimming, you know, you're not going to be fresh. Yeah. So look, we got around it, but it was difficult.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm interested as well, when you're doing those swims, you spoke about it there, you're coming off work, you're going home to kids, you're coming from kids, and you're wrecked anyway. Yeah. When you get that voice in the back of your head, and it's like, oh, don't go training. Just go on. Just watch Netflix.
Well, do you know what? I didn't get that, because I knew, because of I work 16-hour shifts, and being a firefighter, it's very, very, very busy. I knew if I didn't get those 2 or 3 hours to train, I wouldn't have them anywhere else. So I honestly think for 2 years I was going, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And once I stopped, then that was it. I was like, oh, thank God it's over. I didn't have. Now I remember getting up maybe once or twice, going, oh my God, I'm absolutely wrecked. I just can't do this. And Tom would have said to me, just take the morning off. Just don't go if you're that wrecked. But honestly, I don't think I did.
Wow.
Yeah, because I just knew I was very, very driven. If you don't go, so if I miss a 3 hour swim, then I'm going to be missing 12K of a week, which, you know, it's all about for me, it was all about meeting targets, getting that my weekly mileage in. And I knew if I didn't have that, then I'd be having negative thoughts, and I wouldn't be feeling where I am. So for me, I had to meet those targets. So yeah, I would, and with work, no matter how tired I was, or if I was late, if we were held back because you were at a fire or in the ambulance, I would still go and make it up some other way. Yeah. The only time I missed it was if the kids were very sick. Yeah.
So, oh, totally. Look, life comes first. Obviously,
kids go first. But then I always had a week put in, planned, that I knew with my rest week, and that rest week wasn't going to happen because I'd have to train. So, but look, and then I have the best parents as well who would take them. So
that's
it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm interested as well. You spoke about it there previously, kind of that resilience, and even really those. I'm want to pick on that more. You kind of said there, if I miss the 3 hour swim, that's 12K I've missed. So the negative thoughts come in. Do you think because of your training, and because how committed and driven you were, that you did the swim to make sure that when you got into the channel, you were like, I have complete confidence.
Exactly.
I did everything possible.
Everything. And that's when you look back and you go, if you look back, even before people, they have this self-doubt. Yeah. And it's really, really important to, you know, these negative thoughts. And you know, if you start feeling negative and start panicking, like, it's going to dig into all this nervous energy, which is going to make you tired, which is going to give you possibly diarrhea. So you're going to have a loss of electrolytes, or you're going to get cramping. So all these things come into play. So you have to know, I've done the training. Yeah. I've written it down. I can look at myself and go, oh, I didn't skip 3 months, or I didn't do that 20K swim in the pool. I did it all. So no matter what, when you're in the sea or when you're in the channel swimming, and I was feeling tired, I knew.
Yeah, you're like, I can do this.
Yeah. And listen, the body, once the mind tells the body it's going to go, you'll just keep going. But once that head stops, the body will stop straight. Well, it will stop straight away. So if your head keeps saying, "Come on, we got this," your body will just follow. Yeah, you know. So
totally.
Yeah, exactly. Mind over matter, without a doubt.
Yeah. As well, when you break that down into, like, physically, that's a huge, huge toll on your body. But mentally, it's obviously a big one. If you could put it down as a percentage or breakdown, what's the bigger factor? Is it more of a physical thing, or is it more of a mental thing?
God, that's a good question. When some people say it's 90% mental and the other 10% is mental as well.
Yeah.
And that is true. But if you haven't put in the hard work, where are you going to draw that mental positive attitude from? I mean, I can say, well, I'm going to swim the channel tomorrow. Yeah. But my mind will go, Rachel, you haven't trained properly in 2 years. You're gonna absolutely die. Yeah. And then for me as well, it wasn't just about getting across the channel. It was about doing a certain time. So that's why I was so driven. I mean, I wanted to do a time. I didn't do the time I wanted to do. Okay. But you know, and the first time I did it, we stopped halfway because the pilot cancelled the swim because the weather was turning when the swell came in, that's what happens in open water swimming. So I was even more determined to get out. So so it's just amazing. If you want something, or you taste it, you're going to do it. You know. Now again, look, I think, is something, especially in open water or any outdoor events. Look is huge, because I didn't have any injuries. But if the weather doesn't go your way, I mean, you can be the strongest, fastest person, but if a force 7 or 8 comes, you're not going to be swimming. So you got to kind of hope for the best as well.
Yeah, you spoke about it before that even on the day, like if you do the swim on a Tuesday, you could be an hour quicker on the Wednesday. It just actually depends on the weather.
And this window of opportunity, when you swim in English, a channel, you're given 5 to 7 days. That is it.
Yeah.
If you can't get out, if you don't get the window to go out because of the weather, then that's it gone.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all the money gone.
That's everything. Well, I mean, it depends who your pilot is. My pilot was very good. They might say, look, we'll go again. We might try and get you in next year.
Yeah.
So that's another year of, and as well as that, I had to work out through work. I need to get time off. And it's, kids get minded financially again. We talked about and that's what will have your head just going, oh my God, how am I going to do this again? It wasn't the kids, and you feel guilty because you're leaving them for 3-4 days, and that was tough,
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, it was tougher. I mean, it would have been worse if I had to bring them with me. So.
Imagine them on the boat.
Oh my God.
You spoke about it before. You actually went to swim in Barcelona.
Yes.
At one stage for your training.
Yeah.
Talk us through a little bit about that, because I think that from listening to what you said before, that was kind of a pivotal part in the whole journey.
Yeah, so to do any long swim, you normally have to do a 6 to an 8 hour qualifying swim.
Okay.
So in open water, there are some brilliant camps. You can go on week camps or 5-day camps, and they build it up. And the last day, you do your 6 to 8 hour swim. I couldn't go in because I didn't have any time off, and I just couldn't do it. So we flew over to Barcelona, myself and Tom, and we said, we went on a Friday. So I said, we'll do a 2 hour swim on the Friday, 6 hours on the Saturday, and 2 hours on the Sunday, and we'll fly home. Wasn't feeling great. Just put it down to hay fever, and no matter what, I said, look, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Did
the 2 hours on the Friday, didn't feel good. And Tom's like, will you relax? It's just in your head, because I was nervous about it, because I had to get it done. And I mean,
this is kind of, everything was kind of going off this.
Yeah,
swim.
and I was thinking, I was kind of using this as where am I at my training, and it has to be done in 14-degree water. So the water was 14 or less, and it was. And they got in on the Saturday, and then within 2 hours, Tom found me. Within 2 hours, Tom was swimming with me. Then he got out, and then he found me just walking down the sea crying. And he said, right, that's it. We're finished here. Get out.
Yeah.
I just had a really, really bad. My head just wasn't in it. I felt absolutely shocking because I wasn't well. I was cold, which I shouldn't have been cold. Yeah. So we got out and went for a sleep. And we went out for a bite to eat. And Tom said, right, so what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to quit? And I said, no. So we had to fix. I looked back again at my journal, where am I at? So I weighed myself, I think I was 61 kilos at the time. And I said, right, I need to put on weight, which I was finding hard to do because I was doing so much mileage.
Yeah.
I need to actually listen to my body. I wasn't well, so, what do you do? And I would say to anybody, there's a difference in swimming if you're sore or if you're in pain or if you're not well. So if you're sick, if you're going to feel it in your breathing, don't swim, take a couple of days off.
Yeah.
If you're tired and you're swimming and you're feeling uncomfortable, keep swimming. But if you've got a pain, there's an injury there, that's when you got to stop. So we went back and I booked to fly over for a day trip in 4 weeks time. So I went back, put a bit of weight on, was feeling good, and it was not a bother. Got up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, flew over, was there by 9 o'clock, swam for 6 hours.
Wow.
Went straight back to the taxi, flew home, was back in work the next day, not a bother with me.
Wow.
So, but it's good. It's good to have that failure and to go, how are you going to fix it? So,
totally.
I'm always saying about being proactive and, have plan A, have plan B, but have plan C and D as well. Like, I can talk about not quitting and being resilient, and that means that's bounce back ability. What are you going to do to change? Are you going to cry, or are you going to, which I did.
Yeah.
But, but I fixed the situation.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't have done it in that 4 weeks, I would have just had to gone and done it in Dublin 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
But then again, also, if you're not doing it, if you just can't meet these targets, so then you might have to stop and go, all right, reevaluate, might maybe do it another year. But then again, there's also what I would say to other people, it's not for everybody. You might have these massive challenges where it's a marathon, half marathon channel. Not everybody's going to do them. Yeah. So, and that's a hard kind of thing to tell someone or for someone to realise, but then they might have to do something else,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
But that's life, isn't it?
Do you reckon for that first swim that you didn't get through, do you reckon you were a bit burnt out at the time?
Oh, no. The one in Barcelona?
The one that didn't go well.
In Barcelona?
Yeah.
No, I just genuinely wasn't well because I've been swimming great up into that,
Okay.
So it was just, just wasn't well, and I should have listened to myself, listened to my body going over, and maybe listened to Tom, but I didn't, and I learned from it, went back,
Yeah. Because I'm always interested, I talk to a lot of athletes, and burnout is something that we kind of discuss. I don't think you did burn out. Why do you think that was? Was that because
Well,
you were just so...
I would have burnt out when I was 18, Simon.
Okay.
You know, that was, so I totally understand burnout, but that was psychological. That was just, I've had enough of this sport, and this was, and you see a lot of swimmers, I'm sure, in footballers and in sport in general, they get to a level.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to play for their county, go to the Olympics, and they just stop. And I've seen some beautiful, some incredible Irish record swimmers, or even swimmers that have gone to the Olympics at a very young age, and they don't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that is really sad, because I've still kept it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe taken a year off here and there in the last couple of years. And to be honest, we've already discussed this. COVID has been great for us swimming wise, because we've just done nothing for a year. Now we're back hungry and we're back training, and we have some goals. And it's good to stop and take a break, but not to quit altogether, because if you are really, really good at sport, no matter what it is, you might be able to go back and coach or teach, and you can make money from it. You can help people. You can get involved in so many other things like we spoke about, in jobs and opportunities. And there's so many kids out there looking for people to help them. Yeah. And I just think, you know, if anyone's out listening, that is something just to tap in and go, oh God, yeah. And again, they mightn't realise how good they are. And when I see young people, my kids are swimming now, and I might coach them on one day, and I see them looking at older kids, and they love it. And you need to be that person that kind of inspires people. And no matter what you do, you mightn't realise, but people are always watching you. Yeah. And you might be the best in the team, but you might have a great attitude, or you might be brilliant at kick a ball, or you might be the fastest runner, or you're going to have something that makes unique to you, and just don't forget about that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we forget maybe as kids. Like we can always, if someone's listening, you can think of someone you looked up to.
Oh, I can remember loads of them.
Yeah, and you kind of forget when you get to what age the person would have been. You're like, well, nobody would look up to me, but you forget there actually might be someone.
Of course there is. Yeah, exactly. And there could be another parent going, because that person is great with the kids, and when you're 17 as well, you know, or 18 or 19, don't ever forget to say hello to someone. You know, a young kid, or say, hi, well, great match there. Yeah. Because the kids will just be like, oh my God. And they mightn't say anything to you, because kids might get embarrassed, or
they don't know what to say.
Yeah, like I've started coaching kids now in the morning, and I'm there saying, good morning, and they don't even say hello to you. And I go, did you just ignore me? I'm after saying, no, because they're shy, and they don't understand it. And now they're coming out going, hi, Rachel. I'm going, so why are we here? What do you want? Like, what's your intention? Why are you here this morning? Oh, my mum brought me. No, but so what are you here for? What are you going to do? What one good thing are you going to do this morning? We're going to work and streamline and try and get them thinking, why am I here? Do you want to go to the Olympics? Yeah. So what do you have to do to get there? And it's just something you can see them swimming better, or just to be inspired, or make them feel good about themselves, you know. And sometimes, listen, they might swim absolutely brutal, but they might feel great about themselves coming out, and that's what's important, you know.
It's only more important.
Yeah, and I think that's what, I'm sure kids going to school and they're having a hard time, and not just primary and secondary, you know, you need to feel, you need to feel good about yourself. And I'm a big believer in positive attitude. You know, I was coaching adults on Wednesday night, and I told them they were absolutely brilliant. And then I said, now when it comes to your kick, you're deplorable. Yeah. And that's really, really bad. But you were brilliant at that. Yeah. But, you know, so I really believe in encouraging people, because I think even in work, we always say to you, well done, good job, or listen. Yeah. They died, they didn't work out, but you did your best, and we did everything we could to, you know, help that person, do what you can. And no matter who you are, everybody likes to be told, well done, good job. And, you know, without being, oh, well done, great job. You know, if you really tell someone, just listen, really well done, like, you did that really well there, that was something differently done, well done. I think people just respond to it. And it might, you know, so I just real believer in positive mental attitude, especially within coaching. Yeah. Not within the detriment of not saying, but I'm also able to say, listen, that was really bad. We got to work on that. That's what you work on.
Well, you don't want to be 100% positive, because sometimes you don't need. No, like not everyone is.
No,
is
we
there.
Spoke before giving medals to everybody for participation. Come on now, you know.
No.
But I do believe. I think people respond really well to praise.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something we forget, particularly. I don't know why, but I think it's just in the new thing. We don't really. You know, I've never really. Yeah. I can't even. I was just thinking about that. I was like, when was the last time I actually told someone they were brilliant? Yeah. Like. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
why do you have kids? You pretend they're brilliant all the time. That was brilliant. Well done. It was a great poo you did there. Well done. This is a different kind of praise.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah, and I want to talk to you about kind of the final countdown to the swim. And I mentioned this because I suppose with sports, and I think everyone can relate to this, kind of with a goal, or let's say a final or something, that mental side of counting down and not kind of crushing under the pressure.
No, but that's again why we keep the journals. And I would look back before a race now, and especially because I haven't raced in so long, when I look back now, if I do something, I'll look back in the journal and I'll go, how did I feel? You know, the phantom pains, you get, oh, my shoulder, God, am I all right there?
Yeah.
It's just all in your head.
Yeah.
And being able, no matter how old you are, you still have to go, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I got this. Calm down. And like, the word taper coming up to an event, and I believe in taper and rest, and just because I really feel that your head knows something big is about to happen. Drawing all the energy out of your muscles, getting ready. So I'm a big believer in rest and eating and being good to yourself, and then going forward. So when you are doing events, or whether write down the couple of days before your feeds, how you're feeling, what you're nervous about, pains you'll feel, because you'll notice there's a pattern.
Yeah.
And when you go and do it again, it's staying there, and you go, nah, that's just me, that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
So again, and it's also, again, just, I used to look at myself in the mirror going, you're going to do the channel, you're going to swim it, you're going to do brilliant, you've got this,
Yeah.
And why am I a bit fake? I really did. If you say something and look at yourself in the eye, you'll believe it, So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And kind of talking about the swim and kind of approaching that when you're standing on the boat, I think you have to swim out to a rock.
Yes,
and then
out to the beach, Shakespeare's beach, yeah.
Yeah. What's that like, kind of, when you've said accumulation of 4 years training, but it's kind of like your accumulation training for your whole life.
Yeah.
What's that kind of like when you're going down, right, this is it, I'm here?
I think it was a relief going, thank God I'm here. I've got this chance to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I was excited, I really, because I can remember, especially the second time, I was really excited.
Yeah.
It was choppy, because I remember we were sitting in the boat and it was flat calm. My best mate was like, you got this, it's going to be brilliant. And then we went outside the harbour, and the boat started rocking. And she looked at me, she goes, it's flat, you're grand, don't worry about it, because you do need someone, just tell me something positive.
Yeah.
But once I started and I remember getting in, and the first 2 hours I was going, oh my God, this is just crap. I want to get out. 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 Now there's no way I'm going to let you get out, because Tom would be saying, would you swimming? But then it was like, after those 2 hours, and I always say, it's like when I tell people to coach, when I'm coaching people, the rule of 10, give it 10 minutes. If you start running or swimming, or if you're in something, give it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, even if it's just a session, then you're going to feel better. And if you have a bad session or it doesn't work out, just don't quit, and, say, swimming through the hard sessions or feeling bad is more beneficial than swimming brilliant,
Yeah.
So those first 2 hours, I was like, oh my God. And then it was like a light switch went off, and I flew it. For me, I flew it. It felt brilliant, and it went so fast, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, because I saw the video. I think you had it up on YouTube, and it's not an easy swim. Like, I was looking at some of the waves, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, it was tough. But when you're in the water, you don't realise that. You're just going, because all you can see, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
You see a boat, you see people looking at you, and the boat might be going off here and there. So yeah, it is quite lonely, and it's you and your thoughts, but it's kind of a good place to be as well.
Yeah.
So
we kind of spoke about it before recording. You don't really think of anything, and kind of like, is it a moment of mindfulness, really?
Yeah, it is. And then sometimes I have my times table going through my head, or I just count my strokes, or you might just, I don't like to go, you might be having an interview with somebody, you start having these mad hallucinations and that. But I also, if you go off too much, then you kind of forget while you're there, and you lose your pace in that. So you have to kind of come back and think your stroke, and just keep going. I count. My God, I just count up to 50 all the time back.
Wow.
But it's amazing how quickly it goes. And I just swim from feed to feed. So every 30 minutes I'd be stopping for 15 seconds.
Okay.
And I wouldn't speak. It's the only time I wouldn't speak. And Tom would say, yeah, you're doing brilliant, keep going. And that's it. And even if you're doing crap, they're going to go, yeah, you're doing brilliant. And you'll believe that, because you're just looking at this person.
You're like,
and then once I knew I was on the flat coke, which was after 7 hours, sure, look, I was flying then.
Yeah. That was kind of like the mental thing. I was like, I'm actually really close to the end.
Yeah, I knew, sure, 2 hours is nothing. Do you know what I mean? That stage. So, and I would break it down into my swim, right, 2 hours, that's going to be 2400s, I'm going to do this. And I just break it down from the sessions that I'd done, so I knew I was going to be fine.
Wow.
So it's all just taken back. And if I hadn't have done all that training, I wouldn't have had that in my mindset,
Yeah. You spoke about it there, kind of the feed. You're not allowed to touch the boat during the swim.
At all.
So how does that work in terms of food, water? You need to go to the toilet.
When I say feeds, the toilet, you just that's it. Pull the tongs aside and off you go.
Yeah.
When I say feeds, it would just be like an energy drink I would take, carbohydrate drink.
Yeah.
So I might have a couple of jelly beans, and they would put them in a little kind of a net basket for me, and then the water bottle would just be attached to a line. Tom would throw it out, the top would be open. I'd lie on my back, sit for 15 seconds, and go again. And they'd be kind of warm feeds. So it'd be warm water mixed in whenever I'm drinking. Okay. So it's just nice to get something warm into you.
Okay, yeah. And you mentioned there the training. You knew you could do it during that training, or maybe before the swim. Would you have done any visualization? Was that something?
Yeah, I visualised the end.
Okay.
Always the end, coming in, and just because if you can visualise the end, you'll just keep going.
Okay.
Because when you're swimming in the channel, your thoughts going to run around with you because it's so deep. You know, like it's not just swimming at low rock. You know, it's proper open water. There's ships going by you. You know, there's jellyfish, there's fish, there's God knows whatever. You see these shadows and your mind starts playing tricks to you.
Okay.
You might be swimming at night time where it's pitch black.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't see anything except a little light. And that I actually don't mind that because you just I just switch off and I just swim.
Okay.
But when it's really, really choppy as well, you're working hard. So I kind of like that as well because you just keep moving. So you just got to take the positive out of everything. And this is fine, this is fine. And it's amazing what you can make yourself believe, even if deep down in your heart you don't believe it. Yeah, and grand. Keep going. And before you know it, it's done.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm interested, like you mentioned there, ships going by, your mind starts playing tricks on you. How do you not let those fears stop you?
Because of the visualization that you've done and the belief that, look, isn't it? And then going, God, this is brilliant. You know, rather than going, oh my God, you're like, put a spin in it. I always try to be as positive as I can, probably to the detriment, but just, oh, this is brilliant. And think of the photos and, oh wow. And plus as well, when I'm there, I'm thinking, my mum and dad are minding my babies. Yeah. I have to get time off work. This is my holidays. My husband, my best friend, his mum are all on the boat for me, giving up their time. Yeah. You know, a lot of pressure, you know, and I want to do this, I owe it to myself. So there's no way you're going to stop. And those people are there for you and they're just looking at you. It's no people going with you to do a channel. It's not nice because there's nowhere to go to the loo. They're stuck on a boat, you know, feeling sick as a dog. They're cold, looking at you, bored out of their head. So,
and then saying, well done, keep
going.
Yeah,
you're brilliant. Oh my God, is she nearly there? Oh my God. So so that's their things that keep you going. And seeing someone smile at you as well is just, oh, they smiled at me. Oh, I'm doing great.
I listened to Gina Asher-Smith. She actually had to pull out the Olympics there. I felt really bad for her, but she talked about being motivated by failure. So I'm interested to hear, were you more motivated by success or failure, and in particular during the swim?
Failure.
Okay, okay.
It's like I am not finishing this swim, especially after the last time, you know. Initially driven because I knew I wanted to get a time done, I wanted to get a record, but the second time it's just let's get across. Let's just do this really, really well. Yeah. And I do think it's really important to fail things. Okay. And to being able to say, I couldn't do that. Yeah, I wasn't able for that. That wasn't good. But I'm going to try again. Yeah. Because that to me is you know, more of a person. Yeah. You know, or some people, or it wasn't for me, or, you know, the excuses come in, you know. Yeah. And that's okay. We all have excuses. But it's excusing yourself and then saying, but I'm going to do it again. Yeah. I'm going to try and change something differently, and accepting the reason why maybe it didn't go your way, or what you could do, or didn't do enough training, or just my head, or whatever like that, you know. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, speaking about success and being motivated by success or failure, what is your definition of success?
Success is doing what you said you're going to do. You know, with a smile on your face. Yeah. Okay. And also success is failing. Yeah. But going back and doing it a second time. You know, it doesn't have to be there and then on the day you said. It's just doing something, following through. And maybe success is also realising it's not for me. Yeah. That's okay, you know. Yeah. But I can't. I feel sorry for people who always, so I'd love to do that, or never did what they wanted to do, you know, or not, I could have done that, or, you know, you see people going, marathons, or I can do that, but they're not actually doing it, you know. I always say, if you think you can do something, isn't it worthwhile to find out if you can do it? If you can't do it, then you go, look, I couldn't do it. And then realising the people that can do it, God, that is serious, you know. Yeah. Because I do think some people, when they say, she's come across the channel, they just picture somebody with a colourful hat, just breaststroke, and you know, with a mojito in their hand. I don't think they realise what we're actually doing out there, you know. And it's the same for all sport, you know. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't play football if you paid me, you know. I couldn't run. I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't do it. Yeah. And I have nothing but admiration for anybody that does any of those sports. But I just think for me, success is just doing what you say you're going to do. Yeah.
I love the way kind of throughout our whole chat we've kind of mentioned it, like kind of the importance of, you fail, but you go again. Yeah. And you reevaluate, and you're like, well, that's not my Olympic final, but this is.
Yeah. And God, it's okay. Yeah. You know, it doesn't define who you are. Yeah. And, you know, and like there's always, and I say to people, there's always going to be someone faster, better, with a different story, with quads coming along, you know, and they're going to do it. And that's, you know, realising that, you know, so, and being able to say to someone, well done, fair play to you, you know, that kind of way. So I think that's really important. Again, we talk about saying well done to people, and, you know, I just think it's good to recognise that, because then if you're an Olympic athlete, if you're a high performance athlete, you have to be the best. I mean, Michael Phelps, they cannot think of anyone else. It's just them and there's no one else. And I get that, but I'm not at that level. So there's another way of doing it, So, but each their own. And each athlete, getting somewhere, they'll all have a different story or a journey, and what they might do is how they do it or how they cope. Is that someone who's in the channel might listen to the way I do things and go, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't think I need that mileage, or I would do more, or that's okay as well. Everyone has their own journey, and that's really important.
I love the way you didn't really mention that, like the swim and the end of the swim. But what's that feeling like when I know you probably have to get onto the beach and then go back on the boat?
It's kind of an anticlimax because
is it?
It was actually, because where I finished, it was really, really rocky. So your back is sore and you're lying, horizontal in the water. So you have to stand up, and then you literally, come on, get off, jump off the boat, off the rocks, swim back to the boat, and that's it. Then you're in the back of the boat puking, and you go to the loo, feeling freezing. It's not like you're like, bottles of wine, champagne, because you're so sick, and you're going to the loo, and you're just going, oh my God. And then it's like a 3-4 hour journey on a rocky boat and choppy water. It's not nice. You can't lie down anywhere. It's like, oh God. And then when you finish, there's no one there, and then you got to take all your stuff off. And then we had to go the next morning, so I was going back, getting everything ready, texting people. People are great, but it's only really when I got home, and I think we went away for a night, me, Tom, and the kids, and that was kind of lovely, But I wouldn't want to be going out with flags or anything. I'd be too embarrassed. But actually, what was lovely when we did the North Channel, when we came back down to the estate, my neighbour, my neighbour Maria is amazing anyway, but they had like balloons and a bottle of champagne. I know, I was so like, cute. It was so lovely. And my mum and dad were there. Oh, sorry, my mum wasn't. My dad was there with the kids, and that was lovely. The kind of way. And the kids were older, so they were so proud. So that was really, really nice. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was. It's cool.
Yeah, because I recently heard someone talking about the Olympics, and it was kind of like, it's kind of like an anticlimax after the Olympics, because like you've trained, like, I'm not saying you trained your whole life for the channel, but it's like you've trained for this goal for so long, and then it's like
it's over.
Oh, that's it.
And then they start feeling guilty, and then they start feeling, I should be doing this. I should be like, I think we should all have the tricolour flags in our. I know for COVID we can't go to the airport, but for all those Olympic athletes, they should be, and not the ones that won.
Regardless of any medal, just getting there.
An Olympian to me is the pinnacle of your sport. It's the highest honour of any sport you can do, is to go and be picked, to be chosen, which is so hard to get qualified for the Olympics, and then to actually go. And especially with all those athletes in this Olympics, especially, I mean, it's a year late, so the training's been all over the place. Things have been locked down. Their family, I mean, I know if I was going to the Olympics, my mum and dad spent their whole lives bringing me swimming, paying for doing. Imagine them not being able to be there.
Mad.
Oh God, I can't even imagine what the families were thinking, And you want your family there, and I would want to be there for my kids to go to the Olympics, and not to be there must have been very, very tough. So, we should all have a tricolour and just saying, well done. I mean, do you realise how brilliant you are? Most athletes, they're so modest and humble. I mean, look at the rowers, Paul did them. They're just like,
whatever.
And maybe that's how they are and why they're so good, you know? I mean, I've met a lot of arrogant people in my time, and they've been brutal, and they just think they're the best. It's delusional tactics. But then maybe that works for them. That's what I'm saying, each for their own. But I just think they are amazing, and to be an Olympian is just
it's incredible.
Exactly.
I was talking to someone recently, and they were kind of saying about regrets and leaving anything out there, and saying, oh, that was amazing. And she was saying, well, as a high performer, you always think there's a bit to go, and I think that's with the Olympians. Like, I think some of them are kind of saying, you only really step back a couple of months later and you're like, oh wow, I was an Olympian.
You need the time off. And then they come on, they might be finished, they just finished their event. Are you going to go again in the Olympics? They're like, what?
Like,
the
I'm
heart rate's still 200.
Relax.
Like, instead of saying, well done, enjoy this time, let them think about, and they're being interviewed straight away. And especially if it didn't go well because they're angry, upset. I
can't watch some of them.
And the camera's right in their face. I just feel so sorry for them, especially if they've hurt themselves or. I mean, and you hear the what do you call it? The people talking about them, the reporters, and they're really honing in on the negative aspects of them. Oh, that you can't get our balance. Oh, our finish was terrible. Oh my God! Celebrate them being there, you know. And that, they talk about mental health and Simone Biles and everything that she's going through. I think it's a lot to do with the way they're talked about. I don't know. It's just, I think they should be a little bit more positive towards the athletes.
As you say, celebrate it. And as a coach, the importance of celebrating your athletes.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about kind of looking to the future. You mentioned coaching. Talk us through your business and what else you've planned over the next couple of years.
Right. So we had planned to do a couple of races, and obviously everything was cancelled because of COVID, and we're so not fit. It's disgusting.
Now in saying that, you're probably fitter than 90% of the listeners.
Yeah, but for us, and I would be really, really tough on myself, you know. And I know every year I'm never going to be as fit as fast as I was when I was doing the channel because age. I know an age is just a number, and I do believe that. But recovery, work, things do get in the way. And I'll keep trying, but I'm really tough on myself, and I want to be hitting times and meeting targets that I've done. And listen, I keep at it. I will, and I did surprise myself with a few sets last week. But I have a year plan for the team, and we'll probably go back and do maybe a few more. There's a channel, Ocean 7.
Okay. So
we're thinking about doing that. And so we've done the North Channel, we'll do the English Channel again, and there's a few other races we want to do. But on a personal note, I'll probably just stick with 10 to 17k races.
Okay. Just the 10
mileage.
to 17.
Yeah. Well, it's just to do a channel. It's just so much.
Yeah. Even on your body, I'd say recovery wise.
No, it's not even. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But my kids are swimming now. They're swimming 3-4 times a week. You know, it's their turn. Yeah. You know, and if I can't go off swimming, then not bring them somewhere. Yeah. And we were only talking about this. Like our parents got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning, brought us. Yeah. So we're going to be there for our kids. Yeah. They're probably going to be traveling, going to different. I don't know where they're going to be swimming, what they're going to be doing. Yeah. But we're willing. I want to give them the opportunities that my parents gave to me. Yeah. And now they're actually doing it. And if they don't want to do it, that's fine. But I don't want them to say, well, you never brought me or you didn't do this. But then you don't want to be pushing them too much either.
Trying to get the balance.
Yeah, it really is. So it's all about fun. And when we do go swimming together, we do like 30 minutes training and the rest is fun. And we're doing stuff with them. They don't even realise that they're training, you know? Yeah. And they're doing so much. So it's just, it's kind of their turn at the moment. But we'll see. But it's just, I have a plan. We've got a couple of races now, actually, a couple of 4Ks coming up. We're going to see how we get on there. And then back training properly in September. We're back training a good bit now. And I think January we're going to sit down and we have a few things planned as well. Yeah.
Do the lads realise what their parents have done?
They do.
Oh, do they? What do they think?
Oh, they think, well, they're going to go faster than us, they said. Okay. They're doing the English Channel, they're not doing the North Channel. Okay. They're going to the Olympics for the 50 freestyle, 10k and speed climbing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I have that sorted. I said, that's grand. And they're going to be YouTubers.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so they have a lot going on. Yeah. But I love that at 8. Yeah. And one of them, he's so confident because I'll be saying, we're going to work on our turns today. Well, not me, man. My turns are brilliant. And I'm going, oh my God, here's the word. Yeah, okay, but we might just, maybe we can never do enough practice. And he's so confident. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
why not?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yes, and they're happy. So that's the most important thing.
Exactly. If anyone wants to get involved locally or want to reach out and get in touch, where is the best place to find you?
The best thing to do is send me an email because we're on social media, Facebook and Instagram. I am not good at social media. Yeah. Tom is absolutely brutal at it. Ro's not great either. And there's all these messages coming in and I just can't keep on touch them. So the best thing to do is send me an email or give me a shout. Now, open water season coaching for us is coming to a close in September because of sea temperatures and kids back to school and everyone has stuff on. But we do training plans. We do an awful lot of other things. But if they do want to get in contact with me to have a shout or talk about anything, the best thing is to email me at oceanbreakers795@hotmail.com or just Google oceanbreakers.ie and everything is there. And but just to know that we coach from people who want to put their face in the water to whoever wants us in the channel. So we do a wide variety, and we're really getting. Every year as well. We're doing more. We're doing more coaches, certifications. We're upskilling ourselves all the time because I'm a big believer in change. You hear this thing, that's the way we always do it. I just hate that sentence. Change is good. Yeah. Now there's some things that always stay the same. Yeah. But you see new athletes coming in, how they've changed their stroke or their mindset or their diet, and I just think change and science is, and with COVID coming in and people can't get maybe access to the pools, they might have to do, instead of swimming every day twice a day, they might have to do 4 longer sessions. So I'm just a big believer in change and adapting to that and making new headways.
Brilliant. I'm going to finish up with what I call the sideline 7. So it's the same 7 questions at the end of every episode. Jesus, right. Falling over myself there. Question 1, what is your favourite quote?
Oh, God, I actually have so many of them.
Are you a real quotes fan?
I do.
Oh, are you? You've met your sister.
Yeah. I'm a big believer, and I think I have a quote for most things, But I do like the line, doesn't it care, of the pin the sheep. But for a woman, I always love what's the one I always say for a woman? Be the other princess that fixes another girl's crown without telling it's crooked. So basically, if you see a female and they need help with something, or something's happened to them, or they need help, do it without telling them. Help them without going, well, I helped her and I did this, or there's ways we can do things. And I think empowering women and girls at the moment is something so important. We have to work together.
Yeah.
Because my other favourite quote is, "It's a man's world."
Yeah.
But that is big time changing, and you can see it in sport and endurance sport. Females are really, really leading the front. So sorry, I'm interrupting yourself.
No, absolutely not. Biggest setback or challenge so far in your career?
Biggest setback. Well, I suppose COVID has put a setback to everything. The biggest setback for me, God, I suppose when I was swimming the channel was just, the first time when I went across was the weather. But that wasn't really a setback, because I learned from that. I don't think I've had my biggest setback yet.
Okay.
I think it's yet to come. Having kids definitely changed, but it changed my perspective, and it made me focus more on time frames. So to be honest, I've been quite lucky. I take everything as anything change as a good, I always put a positive spin. So I haven't had I haven't been sick.
Okay.
I have my 4 limbs. I have a job. I have a husband. So I'm very, very lucky. So I haven't had a setback yet.
And you said there, my setback is yet to come. Is that something you fear? Is that something not welcome, but you're just like...
Well, I think a setback is good, because it will change how you view things and process things. And it might help me then. I might have to do something differently. And that might help me help somebody that's going through a setback, So... I've met a lot of people who have been coaching who have had horrific things happen to them. So I've had nothing bad happen to me.
Yeah.
I know. And the one thing that did years ago, which I'm not going to go into, I think has made me a better person for it and a stronger person.
Yeah.
So,
Very good. Your biggest achievement then, in or out of the water, kind of on the flip side, more positive note?
In the water?
In or out of the water?
Oh, well, the biggest thing for me is my kids and my husband, that's the most important thing, and my family. Within the water, I'd have to be the English Channel.
Yeah.
Without a doubt,
Yeah.
And I won the Liffey as well, and I love the Liffey swim. So that was great,
very good. Advice to your 18-year-old self?
Well, I always trained really, really hard, but mentally, I just was not for the birds, but I was like, whatever, like that. I just wish I was more focused.
Okay.
And I had more belief in myself. That's one thing. 18, that's one thing I would say. Be a bit more, I never did any kind of psychological processing or aspect within sport when I was training, and that's why I think I didn't get to where I wanted to be. And I wish even at 15, 16, I had been pulled aside then and spoken to, where do you want to go? And I wish I had the mentality that I have now, which we all wish that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being driven, which is something that you learn, like resilience, and that's all something you learn. But that was one thing lacking in from a coach that I didn't have. And I think that's something that's really, really important.
And I think that's something that's only really...
coming out in the last few years.
Yeah, and exactly. I think we're only really seeing the importance of it.
Absolutely. And if you're having a bad day, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have loads more, and they're going to be worse.
Yeah.
And, maybe don't drink too much.
Dream dinner guest, and why?
Oh, dream dinner guest.
And you can pick a few for this. It can be a big dinner party.
I love Peter Kay. I would chat. Every time I try to go to his gig, I think he'd be great fun. Obviously, I would love to meet Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
And just to see, have a chat with him, and just to talk about his approach and what he did.
Yeah. I love the goggle story. Do you know, when he trained? He said he trained every day for 5 years, but then he said he trained with no lights on. So in case the goggles came off, would make a difference. And I think the goggles did come off at some point. And sure, it didn't matter because he had trained. That's incredible.
No, and I'd love to talk to his coaches and just I would love to any kind of elite sports person.
Yeah.
Sharon Vaughan, I always get her second name wrong. She won the Olympic 10K in 2016. She's going for it again. Just her, she's so driven, and I'd love to have a chat with her. Maybe not for dinner, a cup of tea or something.
Yeah. Final question before I let you go: if your life was a book, what chapter would this be called?
My chapter?
Yeah.
Well, chapter 1. I think I do one of those books that you start at chapter 1 where you are now, and then it goes back to I think it's just maybe realization, of what you've done and where you've come. But God. I'd have to think about those questions for a long time. Very good question. But happiness. Yeah.
Love it. Look, Rachael, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
It was a pleasure, and I just want to wish you the best of luck with everything going forward. I know you're a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And, thanks a million again.
And just the one thing I just was saying there, just looking about women not sticking with sport, because I know Anna Geary had a TV show there. I was watching it, and just for any girls or men out there, just stick with sport. Like especially if you're young. you know, if you're getting slagged for anything, just do what you want to do and
Yeah.
you'll be absolutely fine. Because if you can live with the fact that you gave up sport and you're happy with it, well then, happy days.
Yeah.
Just don't have any regrets.
Love it.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Orla. Bye.
A massive thank you to Rach for joining me today. An extremely busy woman. She actually joined us straight after one of her ocean swims on an early Tuesday morning. I just want to wish her the very best of luck moving forward. I'll be sure to leave all of her social media links below. If you did enjoy the episode, please do let both of us know. We'd really appreciate the feedback. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a rating and review. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.